Well, Keith Puccinelli, we're all here to look at his art tonight, but before he became famous for what he's doing now, he graduated from San Jose State, but for a long period here in Santa Barbara, he ran Puccinelli Designs. And we're talking about major award-winning graphic artists. And I was looking at that today before I came down. I just thought I could see it here. Read you some of the awards he won: International Design, Adweek, Studio, Silver Medal, Art Directors of Los Angeles, Society of Illustrators Los Angeles, the annual American Institute of Graphic Arts, the world's most memorial poster competition in Paris, France. Now that's all, most people would be happy that that's their career, and they could read you that. But that kind of just went through like 1995. And then from that point forward, other things started happening, and a lot of other shows. So Keith's work has been shown a lot here in Santa Barbara area and in Los Angeles. It's the really notable show is this big show he did at Otis, which is 3,000 square foot gallery we filled up. Our gallery is about 900 square feet. So you can imagine, what effort it took to do that. There are numerous group exhibitions in Los Angeles and up here. There's some really great videos online that you can see. Santa Barbara Seasons has 2 of them about him. There is some online interviews, I think, from the Otis show, a couple of those. Keith basically has been hogging all the media in Santa Barbara for the last 2 weeks. He's all over the news press, Flickr, he's all over everybody's Facebook sites. The Independent last week said that Keith was not only one of the best Santa Barbara artists, he's one of the best artists in California. We say he's one of the best artists in America, right? And then last Friday, the news press, Joe Woodard, who reviews all the shows in Santa Barbara, and here we are at the end of the year, said this was one of the best exhibitions of the entire year in Santa Barbara. And that's competing against Charles Garabedian and Picasso and Bronk. So we are so fortunate to have Keith Puccinelli with us tonight. Please welcome.
And I can almost smell your TV sheets. And I can almost smell your TV sheets.
He has his friend. And she's sick. Got TV.
We can't hear you.
Is the mic on?
Turn the mic up.
Very loud.
Come on. Hold on. My voice isn't very strong, so yeah.
Here we go.
Is that enough?
It's too much now.
No.
So the song is called TV Sheets, tuberculosis, and the guy just treats this person very nastily. He's repulsed by her sickness, her death pending, and so I decided to. I have sound effects too. Do it? No. Yeah. It might not work. Oh, it's not working. Okay. I don't like it though. So I hope that you go see my show if you haven't seen it yet. It's called Sweet Cream. Is that it? Sweet Cream Sour Fool. I can never remember. But the point is the show has a theme to it, kind of. It's an installation. When you first walk in, you might think, oh, this is worked by a bunch of different people. There's different mediums, there's different styles, there's, different sizes and different types of things presented. But it's all me, and it's meant to be a diverse group of work that, if I'm lucky and you are there at a quiet time, you will hear them talking back and forth to each other. The pieces, maybe the ones next to each other are talking, and then you walk over here, and that one's talking back over here again. And so anyway, that's the way I look at it. It's not just a bunch of work that I happen to throw up on the wall or on the floor or the ceiling. In the slides we'll see tonight, I'm going to show you several of the pieces from the show. I'm going to show you what they were before they are. I'll show you what they were before they are. And I think the first thing we'll talk about here is, well, before I get to the next slide, I just want to say that it's kind of a self-portrait of the whole show. It's kind of autobiographical. I relate to a lot of the imagery, either personally or in my thoughts or my daily life. And so that's represented, something that's important to me or strikes me as funny or absurd or important. And so this first slide is coming up here. The race, I have to put it on. Hold on. One more. Okay, you all passed. You all did A's. Okay, let's go. So one of the pieces I have is called Plus or Minus 8 Meters, and it's about your colon. Well, my age and stuff, they worry about their colon, you know. So they have to go get the, you know, the HD video up the poop chute there, and they look around and make sure you're okay. So anyway, so the colon, I mentally draw it. It's not quite like that. It's 2 here. That's 25 feet. That's in here, right in here.
Can I make sure I'm holding the mouth?
Okay. And next slide, I guess. There it is, in the studio. I think this dimension here is probably wrong. A little big. And that's a little small, so it's in there somewhere, you know. But that's the 25 feet for your colon. And, you know, mouth at one end. All right, what else do we got here? All right, let's go to the next slide. Little ramp, see that? Where's my stick? My PowerPoint. Don't hand the microphone. Little ranch, right there, WR. That was the name of my little 2-block development where I grew up in San Jose, California, in Willard Glen on Cowell Avenue within the white gates of Willow Ranch. This is not important. But let's go to the next one. Maybe we'll figure out why. Oh yeah, so Willow Ranch. Okay, this represents an oversized shirt or coat hanger, right? And in the old days, they were made out of wood, and they had the name of the laundry, or, you know, go see Joe at Willow Ranch, and laundry, and he'll clean your clothes just right. So I made this oversized, actual size, oversized, because I wanted to make a shirt and hang it on a hanger. So, so what do? I have lots of these bags, like this, envelopes. And somehow my wife puts up with me, but she tears them out, I tear them out, and they're full of my address, you know, like thousands of them I've gotten back. And so I keep them in. Why am I keeping them? I don't know why I'm keeping them. I say I ought to keep them. I don't want people going through my trash and find out where I live. You know? I care about I got a bunch of these. So I'm keeping them together. I'm making this form. At Otis, when I had the show in 2008, I made a piece called a dress. You see, it's a dress out of address. It's called a dress. There's a big dress. So I thought, okay, well, that's about it. I covered that one. Why am I still collecting my address? And I thought, a dress shirt. I'll make a dress shirt. So a dress shirt. See, that's. Yeah. These buttons. I had the glue, and it was getting kind of low, you know. So I decided, let it drain, you know, let it dry. You know, I just over here, somewhere in my studio. I'm not trying to do anything. I'm just draining the bottle, getting rid of the glue. Months go by. I go, oh, look at that. So I come over and this is yogurt. This is yogurt. I eat this yogurt. But inside it's the glue. And I thought, well, it's all hard and stuff. So I tear into it. Let's see what happens. I'll probably make a fool. And I got this cast glue disc. And I thought, well, pretty good. Nice accident. Drill 4 holes in it. I got buttons. That's the way I roll. What else we got here? It's a large size. It's overstated. I think when you come in and see a work of art that's not the right proportion, you maybe look at it a second time or you feel something different than it was just, you know, actual size. So it's got a little surreal quality to it, and I think it makes you think and feel something, maybe, if I'm like. Now the next one has audio should be way up on the next one. Next. That's the char bomb back there. And so I wanted to make this bomb that was all burned up, you know, by bomb, you know. And so I did this drawing. And I wanted to do something out on the back. You don't have to hold the tool in anymore if you don't want to. You all right with it?
I'm just getting used.
Some people like to do that. And I wanted to do something out on the back patio. I didn't know what to do. And so I came up with this idea of putting my sculpture back there and then painting. I hired a painter to paint the bullseye onto the surface. So it would look like it'd been there a while, you know, like these old bomb site. So it came out like that. And so this is eucalyptus string. And string and glue. And some wheels and some broken glass, which I may not be here, but it's there. And that was called Carbon. And I like the eucalyptus trees. I have a lot of them around my property. I live out in the country, and there's stuff there, you know. Out in the country, you're around life and death a lot. You know, you might see a bug being carried along on the ground by a bunch of ants, or you might see, or you might hear in the middle of the night an owl grab a screaming bunny rabbit. They scream really terribly. You might see the cat dragging a lizard, you know. Vultures flying around and landing in the field and eating the carcass of an opossum. You might hear gunshots in the distance. They're shooting a boar or coyote or the wife. I don't know, sometimes. Or you might see a little new shoot on a plant, a flower starting out. You may get some a tangerine from a tree that you thought was dead, and this year, oh, look at all the tangerines. Little pea-sized avocado growing. Oh, next year's crop. So there's a lot of life and death around there. Why would I bring that up? Car bomb.
Life and death?
Life and death. It's important. We don't like to think about the death part, but I always think about it. Oh yeah, next one. Sure. Even after all that death talk, you know, I'm pretty optimistic kind of a guy. I'm thankful to be alive. I really like life and living and some people and stuff. And I got this little knick-knack at a thrift store. And it says, may your day be brightened by the sun in your heart. I mean, it's very corny and stupid, and I like it. Because that's like part of me, you know. And then other things just stick up my brain. You know, war and death and people being stupid. You know, our soldiers, they go into war and we're so good now in the field at saving their lives. They come back, they have one arm. Whereas before they would have died, but now we can save them, they have one arm, you know. Some guys, when they go over there, they sign a paper that says, if my genitals get blown off, let me die. Because they don't want to be back home without their package. It's that, you know, kind of thing. 19, 20-year-old guy comes back with, and they come back with no genitals, maybe no arms, no legs. It's pretty ridiculous to me, but maybe that's just me. The next one is going to be called, oh, ridiculous. You can read this. It says, "Sesine pa un stump." You know what that means? Beep. It's French. This is not a stump. Now, you've all seen the Magritte painting from the 40s, "Sesine pa un pipe." This is not a pipe. Fucking Belgium, they speak French, I don't know what. So what do you mean? It looks like a pipe to me, Renee. Well, no, it's not a pipe, it's a painting of a pipe. Oh, okay, well, this is a photograph of a stump. I like this stump. This is on near my property, and I was stump humping? No, I was stump hunting recently. But I may try stump humping. Let's go to the next one. I made one. And yeah, I had some lumber hanging around, so I got my hatchet. I got props here. Am I supposed to be showing anything else? No. And I just hatchet bark. Now I have bark. I'm gluing it to this form that I made out of plywood, and you know, and so I made this oversized stump. And there's a story behind it. If you've seen the piece upstairs, there's a stump, and there's something on top of the stump. There's a slide. There's a drawing of water. So I made a watermelon because I came upon this situation, my voice, and I saw on my little country road winding through the countryside a clearing. I came upon a clearing, and looked over, and there was a stump. nothing around, just a stone and a watermelon sitting on top of it. So I'm perplexed. But I liked it. I thought it was kind of surreal, and I never forgot about it. So I said, well, I have one of those. So I made one. Anybody have any questions so far? Okay. You can ask questions. Time's up. And I don't know, I was in a pocket cigarette. You know, I used to smoke a cigarette. And there's stuff in this show that maybe relates to that. But now I just do these twig cigarettes. That's all I smoke now. This one's apple, it's sweet, reminds me of Mom. I also like the eucalyptus one, it's kind of menthol. Right, anyway. Oh, yeah, tongue. Oh, wait. Goddamn watermelon. Forgot to tell you about that. Goddamn watermelon. Oh, tongue. See, tongue. These are tongues. Can't see that very well because my tongue doesn't work very well. I had tongue cancer in 1998, and they gave you the radiation therapy on that one back then. So, you know, best machine, you know, targeted just, only at you. Not the courthouse or anything, just looked at it, you know, so they zapped you a whole bunch with this radiation. And, of course, it destroys other things besides the tumor, you know. They try and kill you, and just before you die, they stop with the radiation, and supposedly they react and they have the tumor and everything, you know. But it damaged my saliva glands. My tongue doesn't work really great, as you can tell, and I don't have to ever shave from here down. But I'm not going to grow a beard because I think it'd be really strange. So anyway, tongues are a big part of my life. These are lambs, little lamb tongues. And so I had made a tongue, right, the blue part. Oh, wait. Yeah. There's the tongue over there. Paper mache that's drying in the sun. That's slide. And then there's the tongue there, same with the tongue not blue anymore, in the mouth, hanging out of the mouth, in the lungs. And I just thought, tongue, lung, hung. That's the title of this piece. You know, words are really important. Tongue, hung, lung, these are words you can't even understand. It just sounds like, what? It's nonsensical, it's ridiculous. And of course it's hung. You know, we used to lynch people because they look funny. Well, lynch them up. Tell that such thing. Yeah. All right, so there's the tongue hung look. How are we doing on time? Oh, you're in town early, aren't you? Nice. Yeah, I'll show this. Well, that's my studio back there. So killing stuff, you know. We used to have in the 50s, we had these old spray things, you know, spray air, kill the bugs, weeds, you know, brother-in-law. And who knows, you know, spraying some kind of bad stuff on people. But, you know, everybody could have this, you know. In fact, remember back on Willow Ranch? It used to be, before it was a housing tract, it was an orchard of walnuts. My yard had 18 walnut trees, little walnut trees up and down both the 2 blocks in Willow Ranch. And once a year, Mr. Birdie, Italian guy, comes by with this greasy old truck, just dripping poison, you know, and says, we're going to spray. Okay, so, you know, they spray this, not like this, but like huge spray, all the trees, and they're dripping everywhere. Or maybe stay in the kids inside for half an hour. And then you're out of water. You know, poison everywhere, and who knows what that did to you, but maybe, but that's, so I was trying to think about what I could put on this little, I wanted to make a spray thing. I wanted to make it oversized. Again, playing with scale, making something larger than life, and having it be, I don't know, what's that all about? So these are some little notes and sketches that I did. Next. Thanks, Steph. Well, how do I make this thing? Like that. Next. You know, some wood, some slats, tape, and then a little joint, you know, the tape that you put between joints when you're doing the plaster on the walls. Some of that's on there now. And then the next one shows you, I should quit when I was ahead, right then. This is, I love this one. It's just, I should quit, right then, stop, it's not plaster all over. Sand it down, plaster, sand it down. But, oh, side trip. So this is in my backyard. So it's like, it's kind of like an altar, but it's just this table, a bucket, and some bricks. And I keep coming back to this, like this image, this icon or something, and it reminds me of Phil and the KKK, you know, and all that. And then the little black spot, you know, like, it's really water had dripped down from the roof overhang, and it, there it was. So I go and I take a picture of it every so often. And I liked the table, and I wanted to put the milk pump on the table. But I thought, no, I can't just put it on my kitchen table. I have to make a copy of the kitchen table because I make shit. So I haven't made the thing. Why don't you just put it on the table? Because I made shit. And so I made the table there. And that's the one that is on in the gallery. The next slide, it goes back to the old table, but temporary, while I was building the other one. And I made kind of a little tableau here with the image of the, it's not a stump, and I don't know why, just did it. Okay? What else we got? Oh, you know what these are? These are Examples to Puccinelli. See, it says right up there. Puccinelli was really a character in this Italian acting troupe from the 16th, 17th, 18th century, all those centuries. And he was one of the characters. His real name is Puccinelli. Pulcin comes from like chicken, so maybe it had that as a derivative. He had a big hook nose. At least that was the mask that he wore. He wore this big long hat. He wasn't just a clown per se, he was just kind of a village idiot kind of a guy. But apparently my name is quite similar to that one. It might even be the same. So I'm attracted to this idea. And so I looked at these Tieppolos. Now, it's not the Tieppo of the elder. There's 3 generations. It's the middle one. It's the son named Domenico Tiepolo. And he did 104 stitches in various situations of the Puccinellis. And again, this was a comedy group, not just comedy, but really kind of an improvisational group that would tour around the countryside to the fairs and whatnot, festivals, and they would act. It was the first Western actors where they actually used an actress, a woman. Puccinelli, or Puccinelli, eventually became Punch, as in Punch and Judy. It was really originally Punch and Joan, but then, rejects next. So I needed a model besides my book of sample notes. So I made this hat out of paper and plastic bags, and when you could still find a plastic bag. And I didn't look at it or not, so I was the model. And so I thought, well, how am I going to lay this out? And I thought about that pillar inside the gallery. And I thought, well, I could wrap it around the pillar, take the dimensions, make sure I got it rotated that way. And it should lay flat, or it should do that, either way, or whatever. So it's 10 feet tall. There it is with chicken, Puccinelli, and the chicken. That's my story. Next. So I'm drawing. I can't ever put this up on the wall because I live in a dome, and so I can never look at this thing. I draw it in pen. It's 19 by 24 inch, and so I have to put it on the floor to look at it. Or I go upstairs, look over the banister. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So I look at it. And so I draw a panel. Next. It's chicken. I have a chicken. You know, lift those feet, they're just like a hand. We have 60% DNA in common with the chicken people too. I think mostly in the hands. The rest of it, I'm not too sure. Although as I age, I notice some of this kind of thing going on. My legs. Okay, next. So I got those pictures off the internet, so I stole them and I use them for reference while I'm drawing. And then I got farther along. Oh, I saw this great picture of shoes, and so I'm drawing the shoes there, and there's a chicken. If you see this drawing, you might notice that it's anatomically incorrect. And I don't know if you can tell from the slide, but I'm not going to tell you how. You have to go figure it out yourself. But invariably, I'm drawing, and I'm trying to make the best damn drawing in the I'm trying hard, I'm working it, and I usually end up with something wrong, really bad wrong, and I did it again, But I make really good bad drawings. I think, if I can say something next. Oh. That's a lovely shot. My little sketchbook, I have lots of sketchbooks. I write shit down, and stuff I hear, and mix, ideas, and oh yeah, good. And then I'm making this puppet. Punch was a puppet. Punch and Judy was a puppet, not a marionette. But marionettes were. So there's a sketch for the marionette that's in the. This is called Noi Pupi. Noi, Italian, really puppet. Sometimes they grow a bunch of puppets. But no matter how pretty the dance is, it's still a goddamn puppet. So, we're kind of slaves to fashion and our culture and our times. And so in a lot of ways, we're just going through the motions, you know? So, think about that. Stay there, Steph. Let me see what's going on. Oh, I'm doing so good. Oh, yeah. You'll be home for dinner. Okay, nice. Oh, one more. There it is. Oh, just. Okay. Trombone mouthpiece. Trumpet mouthpiece. I don't know what this part, just this part. Now I used to play trumpet. And you make the sound come out of this brass instrument by buzzing your lips and blowing it. And when you're just starting out, it's so funny, you know, like that, and out comes this ungodly sound, you know, and you're trying to learn how to play it, and your parents are like, shut the door! You know, oh God, you know. Yeah. So anyway, and you make different, you know, come out by going two, and that's called tonguing, tongue. Say it.
Tonguing?
Yeah, tonguing. Tongue in. And so, yeah. Next. And so I was deciding, I think I'll make this oversized. Good idea. And so I made it 4 times live. So the one in the gallery is 4 times bigger than this. Okay, next. So I didn't know what I did. I did some wood, I cut it out, did a little cardboard, a little sawdust, coffee, lots of coffee. Next. Put it together, start sanding it down a little bit. Okay. Coat it with some paint. So I want to put plaster on it. I don't want the plaster to soak into the cardboard and stuff, so paint. A little bit of plaster on there. Sand it down, put a little more plaster on it. All the sharp edges start getting smoother. Kind of sexy, smooth, more, you know, shapes, rims. Next. Plaster, smooth, there it is. Some people think it looks like a bong. I don't know what a bong is. What's a bong?
My generation.
But here's a bong. What? Water. Oh yeah, I remember. I remember that now. Yeah, wait. Oh, see, I'll do this. Go back. There it is. See. Original, new, drawing. Cigarettes. Goddamn water. See you later. Thanks. Bye. Next. All right, a little paint. We're getting towards the end now of this piece. Silver leaf, I've never done anything with silver leaf, so I got the silver leaf thing and you transfer it on there and this kind of groovy. I like it. There's the puppet in the background. Stuff in my studio. And next, we will see this. Okay. The name of the piece is Tara Tantara, which is a Latin word for the American or the English word, which is Tantara. And Tantara, or Tara Tantara, is a mimic, or a word that mimics the sound. So, you know, ta-da-ta-ta. The trumpet was used to signal or to proclaim something, to get people's attention. And it's kind of a piercing sound. It kind of gets your attention, and you know, it would be, that's the way it would be used originally. Okay, next. I found this photograph online, so I stole it. And I use it as a reference. It's from the Ohio Historical Society book. Nice. Let me go back to that one. What? It's not. What I found unusual about this was the startled look that she has, and the tattoo, like all of a sudden, you know. And you know, back then, I think photographs had to be set up. Don't move. Okay. Ready? Slam. Yeah. But it's like a snapshot. You know, like, it's not like something just, no. So I don't know if the shot is ahead of time or what. Okay. What do you think? Yeah, she's a photographer, she knows. How? Alright. And here's the drawing that I did after the original drawing, or a photograph. I changed it a bit. But I was on this quest for the stump, you know, and there it was, the stump, and I think I got that. Yeah.
Remind them of your title.
What is it?
Intrusion.
Intrusion. As if we had intruded on this private little situation. Okay. Next. Mud. I make the mud in a bucket like this. Yeah, it's dry. It's dried up like that. I put in some magic potions, and it cracks. See? It's all crackly, like dried mud. So I wanted to make some, and I made some. Nice. But you have to wait for it to dry. So you wait and you watch and you make sure it dries. And then you got your mud cracked mud. It's in my backyard. And I put on top of it a carving that I did. This old bell jar. Protects the carving. The carving is made out of salt. And it's entitled Lick. Like a salt lick, you know what a salt lick is? Or a mineral lick? They put them out in the field and the animals come and they get vitamins and minerals and remain healthy. Cows, even for deer, you can't shoot an animal that's out of salt lick. It's not fair. So it's a law. But this is a tongue. Lick, tongue, salt, dry. You get the picture. It's kind of hot in there. All right. We're coming towards the end, so hang in there. This is how most of the growls and spit. It's a big doodle. You know, I was telling you about my little books I have, and my journals and my books, and I write and I sketch, and so I said, I wonder what it would be like if I got carried away and I did it on a panel. So like this panel, and, you know, and I spilled my coffee out on a lot. Like, oh, life might be happier. stuff I see on the TV, just things I think of, stupid commercials, just whatever I think of. I put it on the thing. And then I said, well, maybe one panel, I'll do a second panel, 19 by 24 light. So I kind of bridge the gap here onto, some boom, and then 2, maybe 4. And then I find out I have this huge wall I gotta fill. So I end up with 32 of them. I never saw them all together because, too big. But, I had faith, it would work out. And I kind of like it. It's real loose compared to my, So, I want to thank Jane for giving me the show and being a great friend. And all you people here, I have time maybe for some questions and answers. Probably music on my second. If you have any questions.
How long would a piece like the one you had at the museum a few weeks ago, how long, that big clown, how long would that take?
I have a piece at the Museum of Art that is pretty big, it's like 10, 12 feet tall. The one clown, I made it 15 months. It was my first one that I ever did that size. So I don't know. I never know how long it takes. Long time.
Would you connect your large or your oversized scale pieces to like home artists like Klaus Oldenburg, or are they? Would you say that they're distinct ways?
I think old Klaus Oldenburg was a fine artist. I like his stuff, and I like Gilbert, and a lot of artists. So I'm influenced by everybody, and like Picasso said, still, so you make it your own. So it's fine. So yeah, yes, Klaus Oldenburg was a good guy. Where's that music? Go ahead.
So, how many know what this music is? So they named it.
Sade.
Who?
Isn't it Sade?
Who's the guitar player in this?
Clapton.
This is old school. So Keith grew up in the Bay Area, not with the singer, but with the background guitarist, Santana.
I love to say that.
Did anybody know who the voice is in?
John Sade.
Was a great blues singer.
John Lee Hooker.
Lee Hooker.
Oh, did he look like a legend?
Does anybody have any questions? No one? Oh, this one.
Yeah, Zane spoke earlier about your career as a graphic artist before.
Right.
And I think those who have known you long enough to have known that period and who perhaps have done the same sort of thing, and you have an applied art, and then we have what you're doing now, which you might call a fine art, but they're quite different in some ways. Can you just sort of comment on that? What's the rewarding and challenging aspects of the difference?
In the old days, they were so different, and they were not part of each other's world at all. I think nowadays, there's a lot of overlap. I think one of the main differences is a graphic designer takes a shower before work, fine artist takes a shower after work. Other than that, they're probably about the same. I'm not working for clients so much, I'm working for myself. I make less money as a fine artist, but I do more of what I want to do. And I'm saying fine artist because you did. I'm not saying I'm a fine artist. I'm just whatever. there's a lot of distinctions, you know, like, I mean, I still use the computer, but I don't stay up on all that software like I should if I was a graphic designer. Also, when I stopped being a graphic designer, everybody soon had the ability to be a graphic designer. Desktop publishing, they called it. So everybody can be a designer. Like now, everybody can be a photographer because they have an iPhone. And everybody can be a movie maker because they have an iPhone. And so, I mean, that's good and bad, right? I mean, democratic, everybody can do it. A great tool for everybody, but, you know, some people are better than others, let's just say. But I think nowadays there's a lot of overlap. Tattoo art, graphic art, gaming, cartoons. I mean, it's all up in the world of fine art now. It used to be low art, high art. Now it's just art. So I think there's a lot more opportunity for everybody to be involved some way or another. And you know, you probably have to make a living. So, yeah, I make some money somewhere. Not everybody can sell pot. I mean, if it's no money, pot,
I'm surprised the bong hasn't sold in the show. I thought that would go very quickly.
maybe we need to change the title.
Bong bong. Does anybody else have any questions? I'll get back to you. Oh, Miss Ginger, one of the artists at Shelley, right, Ginger?
Change.
I'm just wondering, can you comment on it? You know, it seems like your inspirations you grasp from everywhere, and then how will you suggest to recognize something and they say, you know what, this is what I want to make. So is there any, you know, the suggestions, like, because now, yeah, is there any suggestions or how help the artists, like, you know, what to recognize and what kind of topic is good, or how do you do it and so on?
I think that, for me, you know, I've had health issues, so I think that's, and I'm an aging person, so those are issues for me. Personal issues, I think, are important. You know, they used to say to an author, write what you know. So I'm trying to make art about what I know. But I mean, I'm not in Afghanistan, but I know about the war as a person who's over here while the war is going on. So that's okay too, you know. Just stuff that moves me. I might see something that makes me want to cry, you know, and so that might be an important thing. Words, I put words together, language is really important to me. Humor, just the absurdity of life. It's kind of wide open, as you can tell. What am I forgetting here?
Well, when I've been talking about your show, one thing I talk about is darkness and light in the show. Contrast to people come in, they look at the show, a lot of people come in and they, right off the bat, think it's very funny and everything. The longer you're in there, you see that there's another thing going on. And it doesn't exclude that lightness, but there's a whole other level of sort of seriousness that goes on. And I personally find that, I think, is one of the reasons Keith is so successful, because he's addressing such a broad range of issues. And all these things happen in life. It's the reality. So he's taking on like the span of what goes on in life. He's not taking on this tiny segment. So I'm speaking to you.
Yeah, I think that's good. You know, I've done a lot of, we have a movie too. Should we play the movie? You know, I have a lot of clown iconography, and so, you know, you see a clown, it's a clown, oh, but he just got his face blown off. Is that really that funny? Yeah. So, this is the real, true meaning of life. Take this home with you. You'll never be the same. Do we have sound?
Yes.
gentlemen,
My cousin.
today's lecture is entitled The Real, True Meaning of Life. Life. Life is. Life is hard. Life is hard, then you die. Life is hard, then you die, and they throw you in a hole in the ground. Life is hard, then you die. They throw you in a hole in the ground and toss dirt in your face. Life is hard. You complain about it, then you die. And they throw you in a hole in the ground and toss dirt in your face.
The show is available for you to go see. If anybody wants to buy the catalogs, I'll keep it, sign anything, I'm sure he'll read. So if you guys want to go upstairs, keep it over. We got to clean up. We have to clean up after Keith here a little bit. But anyway, but thank you all for coming. It's great.